this is David Stark from WatcherPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today I'm joined by Stevie Joffe, who plays Austin in All About Who You Know. This is my third interview about this film. We previously talked to Jake Horowitz, who is the writer and director, and Niamh Wilson, who plays Haley. I can't wait to talk to Stevie. I'm really excited to talk to him about this film. It's one of my favorites of this year. But first, let's check out that trailer. And if you have a moment, please also like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Thank you.
I actually never got your name.
Yeah, because you never asked for it.
Can I get your name?
Haley.
Haley? That's it.
Did you want something hyphenated?
Do you know how many famous screenwriters were born into the right family? Everett, Abrams, Lena Dunham, Paul Thomas Anderson, all of them had an in.
Hollywood. It's all about who you know.
I'm seizing an opportunity. I met the daughter of the world's greatest screenwriter. I get close to her. I get close to him, and then it's like I'm born into Hollywood royalty with more than a few weeks of work.
The work being dating a girl.
You know, you never did that thing. The Yanni Army Around Me move.
I wanted to do not coffee, so the logical next step was escape room.
Hey, Stevie.
Hello.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
There we are. Yeah, how are you, man?
Perfect. Doing well. How are you?
I am doing very well. I just got to my mom's place over at Prince Edward County.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, just getting out of the city for a couple days.
Yeah, it's always good to kind of get out and take a break.
Yes, absolutely. It's it'll get you if you let it.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much for joining me. I know that it was a long day for you, so I'm sorry that...
I mean, honestly, I think in the arts industry right now, there's a lot of very short days. So having a long day every now and then has been kind of nice.
Yes, very, very true. You know, it's such a crazy time that feels like, you just never know, is it going to open up? Is it going to close back down? And when is it safe to start up projects again? It's been crazy.
Oh, it's going to close back down, I think.
I think it will too, unfortunately. But,
yeah.
I guess this means... one thing I noticed is it seems like you just get a lot more indie movies now because they're trying to fill the void, and there's a lot of kind of indie films that are now getting wider distribution because of that.
Absolutely.
And one such film is All About Who You Know.
Hey, yo, that was a segue.
I know. See, this is my professional job, kind of, sort of.
You're very good at this. I did not even see that segue coming, and I was already riding it.
Thank you. Well, I'll take the compliment. So the film came out in, I think, May. So I'm in the States. I think it came out in America like a week before, and it came out in Crave Canada. Is it Crave Canada? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. Possibly Crave International.
Okay. I was calling it Crave Entertainment, which might be a different website, but I'll go with Crave Canada. And then recently it started streaming on Amazon Prime down here. So now the Americans can stream it for free as well. So, kind of with that happening, I've been trying to talk to more people. You're actually the third on my All About Who You Know interview circuit. I talked to Jake earlier, and then I talked to Niamh randomly for another event. So
Wait, Jake earlier and then Niamh randomly.
So right when the movie came out, I posted a review, and Jake messaged, thanking me for the review, and we arranged an interview then. And then I was interviewing Niamh for Random Acts of Violence, a horror film on Shudder, and I just kind of asked, hey, do you have about 5 minutes to just talk quickly about All About Who You Know? And she was happy to talk because she would like that someone had seen the film. So
yeah,
trying to collect them all, kind of like Pokemon.
Totally. Well, Dylan's definitely more of a recluse, but if you have the other three, I'm sure the final character will be easier to find.
Oh, and then also Hewlett. Hewlett has to get in.
Right. Yes, David as well.
Yes.
He's a little more outgoing. I think you'll find him without too much struggle.
I think he's busy with his own stuff, so I don't know. Maybe he's too busy recording, but who knows? Maybe
Dylan. Every time I FaceTime with him or we do any kind of interviews together or anything, he's always you can never see what his apartment is like in the background. It's like this face in this completely black void.
Oh.
It's very intimidating.
That's so kind of tortured artist. I guess that fits.
Yeah, he looks like he's being held hostage. He's like, hello.
Does he
I
have
don't have much time.
Does he have a newspaper up like this pointing to it?
Uh,
So awesome. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm happy to talk about the film. So I guess, the first thing I was wondering is, what drew you to this film? Like, what was it about this film that kind of caught you? Had you worked with Jake before, that kind of stuff?
I had not worked with Jake before. I had worked with someone who kind of helped Jake to develop and produce the film, a man named Jeff Biederman, who's a writer and showrunner in Toronto. We had a pretty good relationship, and when Jake was ready to kind of get the film underway, they reached out to me, Jeff specifically, and he was thinking, I think there are two parts that you'd be great for, either Cole or Austin, and we'd love to just sit down and talk about it sometime. So I met them for coffee in Toronto back when we did stuff like that. And I was just really charmed by Jake. I got a sense that he was a very sharp and witty and clever person. I could tell just by the way that we communicated that he clearly had a handle on dialogue and banter. And so he sent me the script, and I read the script. And I remember more than anything falling in love with the way that the characters interacted with each other, and just by how quick it was and the way that people bounced off of each other. And he seemed like a very open and willing collaborator. And I trusted Jeff very much, and I still do. So yeah, I met them, I chatted with them. We talked about Cole, we talked about Austin. We found the role that was right for me, and I attached myself to the project.
Perfect. And so it sounds like switch to gallery mode. I should have had that earlier. So hopefully the first part's not too sporadic. So it sounds like you signed on early on. Is that right? Kind of
I think so. I think all things. Well, I know Jake was developing the film for quite some time, but I think when the cast was starting to get decided, I was one of the earlier names to be signed on. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember talking to Jake. There was some craziness with the cast overall. I think Dylan signed on, Dylan wasn't sure he could do it, and then maybe the week before shooting, his schedule opened up, and Niamh was shooting the Random Acts of Violence at the same time she was shooting this film. Yeah. So it sounds like just a crazy whirlwind of a shoot.
It was a crazy whirlwind, but it's amazing when things like that work out and kind of the storm clears just in time, and it means you were meant to make the film, I think.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it seems like everything kind of came together really well. I mean, I know I really love the film. It's one of my favorites of this year. I kind of liked this interview because I got to rewatch it again.
You have so much to choose from. Of the three films that I was able to see this year, it's really one of my favorites. Top 3.
Well, you would be surprised. I mean, there is a lot of indie stuff coming out, so I'm trying to watch as much as I can. But you're right; it's definitely not your normal year. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
And so, with this cast, it's kind of a small cast. So, maybe I'm wondering, what was it like to work with them? Was it, did you all just hit it off? Was it a tight-knit group, or?
So in order of who I like, but I won't tell you most to least, or at least to most. David is a delight. He is exactly as warm and charming and inviting as you would think he was from seeing him on screen. He's also incredibly talented. He's a wonderful person just to hang out with, and very open of sharing his experiences and his stories. And that was great. Niamh, I am a fan of for the rest of my life. I just think she's an absolutely incredible actress. We didn't really have any scenes together. We have one scene where we walk by each other. That was the closest we got, but we knew each other from kind of the Toronto scene. I have a band called Birds of Bellwoods, and she knew about my band, seen us play a bunch of times, so we knew each other a little bit through that. And so she's become a very dear friend of mine. I was very lucky to work with her. And Dylan and I knew kind of very quickly into meeting each other. We were like, all right, nice to meet you. Tomorrow we film the first few scenes of us being best friends and having known each other our whole lives. So let's go in. So I think that first night that we spent together, we stayed out. We hung out until I think 4 in the morning, just sitting out by the lake and polishing off a bottle of whiskey and just getting to know absolutely everything that we could hope to know about each other, and probably too much. And I think he's just such a dedicated performer. I think he sinks himself so fully into his parts and into his craft. And he's been doing it since he was a child, right? And it's just incredible to witness him lose himself in that role, and then to find himself again at the end of the day. Yeah. I like them all. They're all great. Also, if you look really, really closely at the first scene, you'll see a cameo from Halia Jones, who is a good friend of mine. Her brother did a bunch of work on my first album, and she is also, you might know her as Eden Hawkins from Lock and Key.
Oh, perfect. Is that the scene with at the graduation where everyone's kind of circling around Hewlett?
Yes, that's correct. She's wearing a yellow dress. They were told not to wear bright colors. She was like, look pretty good in the dress. Gonna wear it anyway.
She's a star already. She knows it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that your bonding scene didn't make. I mean, that sounds like a scene out of the movie, like you and Dylan sitting by the lake, polish off some whiskey, talking, talking through life and whatnot. That sounds like a scene that could have been there.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the TV show that one could make out of this movie, then yeah, that would definitely be in there. But I think probably the last 2 or 3 hours of that night, I don't know if there'd be that much to mine. I think they felt very important, but I can't confirm that they actually were.
It just either devolved to gibberish or maybe raise the TV rating a little bit.
Dude, right? That's the thing. It's like if you're going to go into a scene like that, it helps to have seen someone at their best and their worst. And we tried to touch on both, I think, that night.
Definitely.
And I hope he doesn't hate me for sharing that.
We'll never know. You said he's a recluse, so yeah. So we'll never know.
He's texting me right now. No, I'm kidding.
He's behind. So I guess what has the reception been like for this film? I know it was one of the earlier films that came out during quarantine, so I'm not sure. Have people up in Canada seen it? Have you gotten some feedback from it? What has it been like?
So far, the feedback that I've gotten about it has been really positive. A lot of people within the industry seem like young writers and young directors seem thankful to have a story that they feel mirrors a lot of their experience and their desires. And it's also a film that in a lot of ways, and Jake was kind of very open about this from day one, this is the kind of script that you write and people go, don't write that script. No one wants to read that script. No one wants to watch that movie. It's a film made by a filmmaker about filmmakers making films. It's too inside. And I think a lot of people were very happy to see it because they were like, this isn't too inside. This is a parallel experience to anyone in any industry. There's two ways of seeing success, and that's as something you earn, and that's alternatively as something that you steal, that you take. And yeah, so I think people were refreshed to see the inside of that experience, which is often held at arm's length from them because people just assume like, you don't want to hear about me. And Jake was very unabashed. He was like, no, I'm gonna write about this because this is what I know and who I know.
Oh, there you go. The film is all about who you know. I really liked the writer aspect of it. I think some of my favorite scenes were when Cole was kind of like going through what the Hollywood trope would be, and you kind of think about it, and then there's a lot of very obvious observations that you just don't think about, like some of the things about how if you were in a bar, they would have taken all these drinks by now, or this is how I would do this reconciliation, but it's not anything like real life. So I definitely liked it. I sent it to all my friends who are writers and keep bugging them to watch it. So hopefully.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's also the other fun thing about writing or making a film about making films that appeals to filmmakers is that everyone's also going to have a very strong opinion about it. And specifically because it's so much of it takes place in Cole's head, everyone's going to have an opinion about when the film really ends, right? So that's kind of been one of the most exciting things about it for me. The positive feedback is wonderful, but also the kind of exploration of what it is and what it can be and what it could be and what it isn't has also been like quite inspiring. And I think it's been really useful to Jake moving forward into future projects.
I bet a writer loves hearing commentary about his work once it's out in the
yeah.
ether.
Oh yeah, I'll put them right here in the suggestion box. Yeah. Just like there it is.
We'll just get everyone together and reshoot all those scenes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, no, I definitely liked the film. It's an indie film, so it had some rough edges, but what I really loved was it had this really fresh feel to it. You know, and I think this is a testament to Jake's writing and also all of your delivery. Like it felt like a film that was decidedly younger than a lot of the films that I would normally see, and that was, you know, kind of fun to experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Grasping at my youth.
I'm drinking a pumpkin beer. No one needed to combine pumpkin with beer. No one asked for that. This is not. I wouldn't. If you were here, I wouldn't give you one, and that would be out of kindness.
Then you would be a bad host, but I would appreciate that. You're lucky. It is October 1st, so you are allowed to drink pumpkin flavored beverages.
I'm pretty sure it's been in the fridge at this place since it's probably since last Halloween. Does beer go bad?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No. I mean, we'll schedule an interview for like 3 hours from now to see how you're doing. But
sounds great. My answers will be a lot quicker and more
or incoherent. So you're an actor. You're in a band. In this film, you play a writer. So I guess, do you write? Do you have your own scripts and things like that? How was that experience?
Yeah, I actually, writing was kind of the first thing I did. I was writing poetry since the time I was like very, very young, and then gradually that turned into stage plays, and then that turned into screenplays. I have a few projects in development right now, and I'm working on. I am a writer. I'm working on a few different things. I'm in loose discussion with a few production houses, but the film that I'm trying to get off the ground currently is an animation. The budget is it's a feature film 3D animation, so it's very hard to convince people to trust someone of my age and experience at the helm of something like that.
Yeah,
it's really good, I promise.
Here's some sketches. I can imagine that'd be tough because there's just such a time commitment in that. In that type of.
I have a great writing partner though who has a little more clout, and we're slowly pushing the ball up the hill. And I wrote a lot of plays in my youth. I had a few produced and kind of in Vancouver, and then in Alberta, and then in Ontario as well.
Perfect. And you said you write poetry, so I'm gonna hazard a guess. Do you write the lyrics for your band, or at least some lyrics?
Yeah, most of them. I write them, and then they're usually about 7 pages long, and then my band helps me kind of edit them down into traditional song form.
It's a good collaborative process.
It is. I'm very thankful for it.
So next question is, one of the things that strangely became I guess not strangely, but just randomly seemed to become kind of iconic in this film is the shoe tree. And I know that you didn't have any scenes in the shoe tree, but have you been to it? Were you able to kind of take that pilgrimage out to the cursed tree, I guess?
Cursed shoe tree. I have not been to the cursed shoe tree.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, because I had the impulse to lie to you and make up a fun story about the shoe tree, but I feel like we have to be honest with each other, you and I. No, I haven't seen it. The idea of a tree with a bunch of shoes on it is very cool to me, and at some point I'm sure I'll drive by it and go, oh my god, it's the shoe tree. We have to stop. But I've seen trees with shoes in them, just probably not as many shoes.
Yeah, that has a critical mass of shoes that I think kind of makes it special.
I don't think it could have one more shoe.
Only one way to find out.
That's true. Let's go. What are you doing?
I don't think I can cross the border right now, but
that's fair. How far can you throw a shoe?
10, 15 feet. Is that long enough?
Maybe if you stand right at the border.
Okay. Well, I'll lob it to you, and then you can complete.
Like an alley-oop kind of situation.
Yeah. It's like with the wings.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Perfect. So now I just want to move into. Actually, I was going to say, if you stop at the shoe tree, then you also have to get ice cream and eat that in a horrible, horrible way. So I don't know, maybe this is.
I can't eat ice cream.
Uh-oh.
It makes my face break out really bad. I can't eat ice cream. I can't eat cheese. All the delicious things. I'm not allowed them anymore.
Well, it is a cursed tree then.
Yeah, truly. But I wonder if the ice cream melts and turns into soup, if that changes like the genetic constitution of it? Maybe I can drink it.
I'm not a scientist. I'm gonna guess no, but you know what? There's only one way to find out. So drink
Alright.
the pumpkin beer, eat some melted ice cream, and then we'll reassess in 3 hours.
I'll mix them all together into a shake. What could go wrong, honestly?
Especially now, hospitals are great places to be, so it's it'll work out fine. So now I just want to move into, I call it the lightning round. It's just kind of a lot of short, random questions that kind of relate to your character or the characters in the film. And I want to see kind of what your experiences are to the characters of the film. There we go. Stretch up, limber up. You can choose not to answer any of them. I try to keep them answerable, but you know, I will not be offended if you don't answer, or if you answer short or long. It doesn't really matter.
That's not fair. It's a lightning round. I should have to answer short.
Yeah, but if you want to elaborate, I'm happy to hear.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm in.
So, and the first question is kind of a longer question. So I guess, you know, maybe I should rename it to like personal questions. What is the what is the craziest thing you've done to get ahead?
To get ahead.
Yes.
I mean, I grew this one.
Well,
what's the craziest?
Did you grow it?
Yeah, I know. I guess you're right. I didn't technically grow it.
Yeah.
What is the craziest
Already
thing?
taking credit for others' work.
That is a very difficult question. What is the craziest thing I've done to get ahead?
Was there any?
Oh, here's one.
Oh.
I was on a TV show when I was in high school. A TV show called Overruled, and they were moving into their 3rd season, and they had the opportunity to stay on the show. And alternatively, I got into National Theatre School here in Canada, and I decided that in a kind of long-term way, the best choice that I could make in order to get ahead would be to go to theater school, learn the craft of acting, come back to the industry as like a more holistically trained individual. And that was the craziest thing I've ever done to get ahead, because as much as I loved learning about it, it was a terrible decision. I literally already had a job. I was already working in the industry, and then I left the industry to work in the industry? No, it made no sense. Absolutely not. Next question.
You left the industry to learn how to work in the industry, which
that I was already in.
Yeah.
High school is a weird time, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the critical path that a lot of people try to emulate. So it's not a surprise, but yeah, that does sound like a interesting decision. But you know, maybe you became a more well-rounded actor. So
maybe they didn't even really give me any of the good parts in theater school. I got the Duke of Albany. I wanted Edmund.
Just your life is a Greek tragedy.
Shakespearean, but yeah.
Shakespearean tragedy. Yep. I did not go to theater school, so.
Hey, you know, if it's not clear from this little anecdote of mine, you didn't miss very much.
Did you ever move somewhere with your best friend?
I ever moved somewhere with my best friend? I mean, I moved in with my partner, Jesse, and now we live in an apartment together. They're my best friend. So, yeah, I guess I have moved somewhere with my best friend.
There we go. Did you have a best friend in college?
Yeah, I had 2 best friends. Their names were Connor and Justin. Justin got all the big parts and promptly stopped acting after NTS immediately. So, really great. Unfortunately, I fell out of touch with him, but I'm still a big fan. He was also a great writer. And then my other best friend in college or theater school was Connor Fanning, who was another incredible actor, but he was also like super anti-establishment and like one of the cooler people I've ever met. And now he lives like off the grid in BC with his child and builds Earth ships and is a what is it? Red Seal carpenter? Yeah.
What's a Red Seal carpenter?
It's a carpenter who's like a real carpenter who your house won't, you know, explode around you and crush you.
Excellent.
A very good carpenter that the Carpenting Association has determined is a good. I don't know, man. I'm not a carpenter. It's a Red Seal.
He gets the seal of approval, I guess. I'll go with that.
Exactly. It's essentially a seal of approval in red.
I don't know if we have that in America. I think it's just, if you buy it, it's made. You know, I don't know if we get seals of quality, but
you gotta get on the seal train. It's incredible.
I mean, it sounds fun. I I kind of like this this movie review thing, but I guess if that doesn't work out.
Yeah, but you got to get the red seal as a movie reviewer, otherwise people won't be able to trust your reviews.
That's true. I'll work on that. I'll go to carpentry school to get my red seal, and then I can come back.
I'll go to seal school so that I can make seals, and then I'll give you a red seal.
Perfect.
All right.
You're gonna disrupt your acting career to go to another school to come back.
Oh, I'm doing it again, aren't I? Yeah.
That's the
All right.
problem.
Well, I'll meet you back here in 3 hours, and I'll have the seal ready for you.
This is gonna be an odyssey. I hope you write it all down. So it sounds like you also outlasted your best friends in acting. So congratulations.
I don't know if that's worthy of congratulations, but yes, I did outlast them.
How long was your longest fight with your best friends?
Justin might still be in a fight. That might be why we don't talk anymore. I might have just forgotten about it. I'm in an on and off fight with, I think, all of my best friends in some way or another. But it's, you know what? I don't know. At a certain point, friends just become siblings, and like there is a certain level of argument, and fighting, but it just makes you stronger. It makes the friendship stronger, and if you love someone, you respect them, then you should be able to challenge them, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good analogy. They kind of become like siblings, so it just becomes part of the relationship.
Yeah.
So in this film, you made up with Cole by giving him a burger for some reason. So how did you make up, or how was one way you would make up with your friends after a fight?
I'm very much a talk about your feelings kind of guy. So generally sitting down, having an open and frank discussion, explaining it's like all the stuff you learn as a child and just like never gets less relevant. When you said this, I felt like this. Was this what you were trying to say? What were you trying to express? Is there anything else going on? Can you tell me about that? Is there a way that I can support you, that you can see me as someone who's supporting and loving to you instead of someone that's challenging you? And can you see that love and acceptance even when I'm not agreeing with you? This kind of stuff. Just talking it out, which my partner was not always a fan of, but they've come around.
You are way more emotionally mature than I am, so I commend you for that. That is a fantastic way to go about it. I was hoping for some sort of silly answer, but no, that was a very good, thoughtful answer.
Yeah, man, just talk about it. It's good. If we all talked about it more,
Everything would be better.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we all saw last night what it's like when people just talk at each other instead of with each other.
Yes. Watch Your Pass is a non-political blog, but I would agree that was a display.
Oh, in an entirely bipartisan way. It had nothing to do with any party. It was just a goddamn mess.
You
You should watch Canadian debates. There's 4 people, so it gets wild.
Well, so I have to imagine Canadian debates are probably very polite. Is that just my American stereotypes?
Yeah, I would say that's a stereotype. They get pretty impolite, and especially the French section. That's when the French part of the debate. That's when shit really pops off. Gets wild. We're not as polite as people think. Jack Layton was very polite. He was an incredibly respectful person, and I think we all miss him a lot. But no, we got teeth up here. We just we just don't show them.
Your comment on the French section has me reeling. Do you have debates in both English and French, like in the same?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, we do. Yeah, man, you should give it a shot.
I can barely speak English, so I don't want to try to debate in another language.
On peut parler en français maintenant. Now that's that.
Au revoir. Oh yeah, wait, I gotta do this. I can't have a thumb up. You gotta do the weird.
Why?
Thing. I think this is how you point in American politics, because you can't use your finger because that could be aggressive. So you do this.
I've heard that.
We're a strange bunch down here.
I got a lot of love for you guys.
Well, thank you. So someone has to at this point.
Yeah, you're gonna figure it out. one way or the other. You always do.
Yeah, someday. Have you ever had a friend stand you up for some event without telling you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I get stood up all the time.
Oh, that's very depressing.
That's okay. I really like hanging out with myself. So like, worst case scenario. Also, I meet people very easily. I am very much an extrovert, and I don't have a lot of like social shame or fear of just like getting to know people. So yeah, it happens. I don't mind it terribly.
I kind of
And you always got to assume that there's something going on, right? Like, it can be really, really scary and intimidating just going outside sometimes for absolutely no reason, or to see someone that you know and love very well, but suddenly you get to the door and you're like, I can't. I need to be by myself right now. And I try to be understanding of that because I definitely also do it to people.
Yeah, that was again very emotionally mature. I'm very impressed with that. So this film has a lot of kind of sequences where Cole is monologuing, acting out the scenes that kind of play out for him. So have you ever monologued your lines either when you're writing or when you're trying to prepare for a role? Have you ever kind of looked like a crazy person talking to yourself in the corner?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the worst of it is after an audition. Sometimes you'll know it didn't go well, and so you'll be like on the streetcar or walking home and going over it in your head, and it'll naturally kind of manifest as you like mumbling the lines to yourself and doing like the little looks and stuff. And then you walk by, a mother and her two children, and she like grabs their arm and pulls them away from you, and you're like, "No, I'm an actor." Oh, that's fine.
You're like, no, it's probably better this way.
Yeah, exactly. And then I live on Queen Street, which is a very busy street in Toronto. And sometimes when I hear people coming by my window at 3:00 in the morning yelling at themselves, I tell myself that they're just practicing for a big audition.
Very good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Have you had any rom-com like moments in your life?
I think you were bang on when you said Shakespearean or Greek tragedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a part of a rom-com. There always is that scene. Just usually
That's true.
There's something else that happens after.
I feel like I've probably had some rom-com like moments. I mean, I'm very much like the George Clooney was always like my thing when I was meeting people, to look up, look down, look back up. And that, yeah, I'd say I've had a lot of meet cutes in my life. You look up and it's like you look down just because they're so beautiful that you like, whoa, and then hi.
Then the eyes meet.
Yeah, did that work?
Yeah.
You got
my heart is racing right now.
You can't tell, but I was looking exclusive. I was making eye contact exclusively with your beard.
It is a new feature. This is my quarantine beard. It's the first time I've had one. I kind of wanted to see how far it would go, and now I don't really want to lose it. So
really,
mm-hmm.
How are the people in your life coping with that?
They're tolerating it.
Oh, you don't have a single fan?
Some people like it. My children like it. My wife is she tolerates it. She's happy that I'm happy.
Okay, I mean that's good.
Yep. People that see pictures of me like it, but they also kind of think I look crazy. So it's a give and take.
Have you considered maybe like she gets this half, your kids get this half? So beard from here.
Yeah, like kind of like Two-Face.
Yeah, that kind of vibe.
Yeah. I'll bring it up to her, and we'll meet again in 3 hours, and I'll tell you how it went. Yeah, just like that. What was your first entertainment gig?
First entertainment gig. Yeah, when I was, I think 7, I was on a TV show called Naughty and Friends about a magic toy shop. I played a character named Itchy. He was the cousin of the main character. I was like a little guest star on maybe 4 episodes of the show. I cheated during an egg and spoon race. I glued the egg to the spoon. Wasn't good. And you know how they caught me is someone waved at me from the sidelines, and I was like, hi. Yeah, didn't go well. I
hope you and everyone watching learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you do to get ahead, I think is the line.
There's a random line in the film about how you and Cole like purple ketchup. So do you actually like purple ketchup?
I've never seen purple ketchup in my life, but I think if I did, I would like it.
I think if you saw it now, it would be dangerous. It'd be like that expired pumpkin beer you're drinking. But it was a thing back in like the
You
90s. I'm
told
pretty
me
sure.
beer didn't expire.
But allegedly expired.
I don't. I feel our trust is shattered.
I should have prefaced with I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist. I should have prefaced that.
Fair enough.
But it's desperate times right now. So if you have to drink expired beer, then it's understandable.
I feel the same way. I've drank worse.
I don't think they make purple ketchup anymore. I know they did for a bit, and I remember
it's just purple. It's just a color thing.
Yeah, just colored purple. I really wanted it when I was a kid. My parents rightfully didn't get it for me. That's probably for the best. But there you go.
Is it? It seems whimsical. It's why not get your kid the purple ketchup?
Who knows what makes it purple, right? Who knows? Who knows what it was?
Beets.
Maybe.
I mean, beet ketchup I've had, and it's delicious. It's really wonderful. I would recommend it highly.
We don't have that down here. That sounds interesting, though. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, come up, and we'll go to the shoe tree, and we can't have ice cream, so we'll just eat beet ketchup right out of the carton.
It just sounds like a sequel to that wonderful film.
Yeah.
So have you ever done an escape room?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I did an escape. I was on tour with my band at the end of last year, and I did an escape room with some of the people who were on the tech team for the tour, including the technical director. His name is Lonnie. He's a very large, very intense Texan man. And he loved escape rooms. And I am a lead singer of a rock band. So I thought we were all there to have fun and like drink and, fuck around in the escape room. And he was there to escape a room in a very serious way, like a militant way. We met in the middle. We had a very good time, but I'm not very good at them. I get very wrapped up in like the story of it. And I like to pretend to be a character because, I'm an actor. But yeah, I have done an escape room. I'm not good at them, but it's very entertaining.
And it sounds like you did escape. So that was the next question.
I did eventually. Like, I'm not still there.
No, well, that's good. Are you? Do you need help? Do we need to send help?
No.
I can imagine the escape was just Lonnie just punching through the wall at some point, just frustrated that no one was taking it seriously.
It's hardly possible. He could have. He was strong enough, certainly. I mean, I might still be in it. It could be like a Truman Show. Aren't we all kind of in an escape room right now?
Right now, we are all stuck in boxes.
Yeah, this whole year is an escape room, man.
Yep. And it seems like the room is not going to end, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think the pumpkin is kicking in.
If you could write a script about your life, what would it be? It sounds like, we kind of talked about it, but, what would you call the script to your life?
Oh, probably just Stevie.
It's good. Simple.
Right.
Well, the problem, so, a bunch of, this film included a bunch of indie films I've talked to. You got to have an A, B, or C name. So Stevie wouldn't work.
So it has to be like literally an A, a B, or a C?
Well, so that's when we asked Jake about the name change, because it was Who You Know, and then it turned to All About Who You Know. He said that someone, one of his distributor told her that you need to have like an early alphabet name, preferably an A, so that it kind of pops to the top of the charts when you're browsing.
I think stuff like that is what it probably has merit in terms of like all the reasons that it said, but I also think looking at creative endeavors through that lens is part of what's churning out so much schlock these days. It happens in music a lot too. Song has to be 2 minutes and 50 seconds long or it's not going to get on the radio. It's like, okay, but what if I want to write a really good song? What if the song wants to be 4 minutes long? What if it wants to be slow? What if the chorus doesn't want to be about like, ooh, baby, Friday night?
I've already lost interest in whatever this song is. It's
Exactly.
been too long.
Because we're 45 seconds in and I'm not even at the chorus yet. Like, come on. So I get it, but I'm sticking with my name.
Don't you
In
now
fact,
have
I'm
to?
going to start it with a colon.
Oh, that's avant-garde. That might be different enough to make it.
You know what? I think that actually puts it ahead of everything else in the alphabetical order.
Probably, or it just throws an error when you try to load up.
Yeah, that's good. That's the alternate title.
So wait, did now, I'm not that hip. I imagine you probably are more. Now are they making, like, do you have to write songs that are like, is it TikTok, that are TikTok accessible, that like have a good TikTok beat?
You definitely can, and I think there are those out there who think that one should. And I like to think of, if there's an album being made and you're on a label, that it's kind of 60-40. The label gets to decide about, or at least influence decisions about 40% of the album, but 60% is still for you. So also, there's nothing wrong with a short, good pop song, man. I'm not like, I've got a lot of love for that kind of stuff. I just think that there has to be room for the song to manifest as it needs to, right? Like, I'm a firm believer in all artistic endeavors that you're less creating something and more channeling something, letting something pass through you. And if you influence it too much, then you lose it. You lose sight of it. And it just ends up being you trying to build something without the instructions.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. It's one of the reasons I really like indie films is they feel more kind of raw and emotional. Than some of the
It's
other
crazy
films.
to me that Jake took that advice, considering everything else about the script is like exactly what someone would say. You're not allowed to do that.
There you go. Even the great Jake Horowitz can bend to societal pressure every once in a while.
Yeah, his new film's about it. It's like a Christmas party movie too. I got to check in on that guy, make sure he's okay.
It's called Cup of Cheer, which is a C. There you go.
Sure, and it's great.
The trailer's actually out. It looks funny. I mean, I'm excited to see it.
A Horowitz writing a Christmas film. What could go wrong?
I didn't think about that.
L'chaim.
Cheers. So this film is also about Cole coming up with a scheme to meet his idol. So have you met your idol?
I've met a few.
Okay.
Yes. Some it was great. Some not as great. There is the saying, "Don't meet your heroes." In my experience, that's about 50% applicable. But it depends on how you look at it. I think you get to a certain age and you realize that you're meeting a person, right? And that you have this context through which you've seen them for your entire life and they've occupied a very great space in your life. But it's all been projection. It's all been about what they mean to you. And then you have to meet them and they're just people. And it's inevitably, if you're not expecting that, it's super disappointing. But if you can get on that level, then that realm of influence becomes, it can be applicable to you as well. Like you can understand how you at times are seen. And I think that can be really valuable. But that wasn't the question. The answer is yes.
Again, with these deep emotional questions, I'm in awe of these answers. These are fantastic.
I like to be, therapy's great, man. Everyone should do it.
I agreed 100%. That's actually one thing I've noticed is a lot more movies are coming out that kind of deal with mental health and the benefits of that, which has been kind of a nice, needed aspect of this quarantine, is just having more films that are open to talking about it, because it's definitely something that everyone probably needs.
Absolutely.
So what is next for you? It sounds like you've got an animated film that you're trying to get off the ground, some other projects. Is the band touring, or is the band, I guess, what's the band doing during quarantine?
This may shock you, but the band is not touring currently.
That's good for everyone involved.
Yeah, absolutely. We are currently in the studio working on our second album. We have a producer who is actually up from the States working on a few projects, and he just completed his 14 days of quarantine and is now, we're working with him in the studio at long last. So towards the end of the month, we're going to start recording proper on album 2. I am in a few things that are coming out loosely, but I can't really talk about them at the moment. Writing as usual, and then like exploring lots of other fun things in quarantine. I learned how to cook. Turns out I'm really good at it. I got my G1, which is the equivalent of like a learner's permit, and me and my partner bought a car. It is a Champagne 2011 Toyota Corolla.
I love that. That's it's so weird to think about not having a car because you just kind of need one out here. But
yeah,
I love that you were able to not get one, to live without one, and now that you're taking that on.
Yeah, I'm a city boy. I never really saw the point, but I'm dating someone from Alberta, and it's a similar kind of thing. Like you need a car out there. It's like a coming of age thing. So yeah, there's that. Learned to cook. I've been doing a photography project. That's been super fun. Yeah, I don't know. Not much going on here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like a perfect time to kind of explore those hobbies.
Yeah.
When you got the champagne car, did you have champagne as well to celebrate the champagne car?
Oh, I am having a pumpkin beer. We will eventually get a tiny bottle of champagne and crack, but it's a Corolla, so I'm concerned about hitting it with anything.
But there's so many parts. You could get a replacement part very easy. Maybe not champagne. Champagne might be a tough color to match, but
yeah, and you can't Frankenstein that stuff. Champagne, you have to be pure champagne, or it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. I'm liking this the new name of your documentary: Stevie: I'm having a pumpkin beer.
I like it. I think that's the making of film.
And it's a disaster movie.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'd like to change my previous answer about what the film about my life would be, and I'd like to change it to a disaster movie.
Those are very exciting. Those are, and everyone enjoys it. Everyone walks away happy with those. So
yeah, except for the people in them.
Yeah, well, everyone feels better by extension. So you're doing good work.
Hey man, story of my life. Literally.
So now I'm going to warn everyone, we're going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, it's available to stream on Crave Canada in Canada, and on Amazon Prime in America. It's probably available. You can rent it or purchase it on all the other digital platforms. If you wanted to stream it, it's available on those platforms. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a very fresh, different kind of film. It has a lot of really fun writing and a lot of kind of anti-rom-com aspects of it. So go check it out, and we're going to move into spoilers. So spoiler warning. I asked Jake this and I asked Niamh this, so I have to ask you as well. What do you think happened in the end? Who do you think Cole ends up with? I assume you might be biased, but
I really hope it's not Austin, because Cole's a terrible person. Cole is a bad friend and a deeply self-centered person. He has an incredible amount of growing to do before I think he should be with anyone. So I don't know. I forget. It's been a while. How does it end? He's on a date. He's literally on a date with a person and then gets a message and then leaves, right? He just leaves in the middle of the date without saying anything.
So he's at a coffee shop or some sort of bar, and Haley is singing on stage. And then, yes, eventually his date comes up to him and he gets a message from Austin, saying, "Hey, I'm in town, want to meet up." And then I think it just kind of ends at that. I don't think he leaves. I think it just kind of ends. So I feel
like I remember him like standing up.
Or maybe maybe he does stand up. So you're not
like
sure.
That, like the Sopranos ending kind of vibe. Yeah. I would like to think optimistically that he gets up and says to his partner, "You know what? I have a lot of personal growth that I need to do right now. This was a mistake. I apologize. Haley, good to see you. Austin, I'd love to meet up, but not today. I need to go for a long walk and jump off a bridge."
So again with the tragedy.
We've established a pattern.
That's a good answer. Yeah, I think I hoped that Cole had grown from his experience, and maybe at that point he was ready to make a decision. But
I think maybe he's in a process of growth, but I don't think he's ready to make a decision yet. I think the sheer fact that he's there with someone who he, in the beginning of the film, is referring to as only Ladybug, and who he brought on a date to see his ex-girlfriend sing. Because he's not like, whoa, my ex-girlfriend is here, let's get out of here.
yeah, we should move. Yeah,
He's like, no, I'll sit here in the front row and watch her sing. So that, like, you know, to play therapist here, I would say that's still like deeply unhealthy behavior, and is still putting this girl Ladybug as like a weird background character accessory to what is still this movie of his life.
you know,
I'm an optimist. What can I say?
no, this is true facts with Stevie.
Yeah, I am biased. I'm Austin, right? I've watched this guy screw up again and again and again.
I've sad to admit I never realized that was Ladybug. I just had forgotten about her from the start of the film. So there we go. Learn a new thing.
You want to know another Easter egg? The guy getting off the stage before Haley comes on to sing in the last scene. Guy in the green hat.
It's you?
It's me.
Oh, so take this to the dark kind of thriller horror stage. You are now stalking Cole.
Yes.
And then text him
From
to
back.
say, to say, hey, let's meet up, and you're watching to see what he's gonna do.
Look,
And
man,
then when he goes for the long walk, you are actually behind him and you push him off the bridge.
yes. Okay, cool. So we're on the same page.
Yep. And that is all about who you knew.
Ooh. Yeah. It's like Lion King 1.5, where you
Yep,
get
there we go.
the story.
There you go.
but you know, with more murder.
I bet Lion King 1.5 probably had plenty of murder.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for this.
That's it? That was the last question?
Well,
Such a dark note.
I wanted to keep the spoilers to the end. Usually I end with what's next for you, but I wanted to have a clear break so that people could see all the answers. So let's see. Let's try to have a happier one. I
don't want to force a happy ending. Sometimes, endings are sad.
Sometimes they are tragedies. Well, there's still plenty of time to see what that pumpkin beer does. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess what if you had your choice of a beer, what would it be?
I'm like a stouts or sours kind of guy. I'm very much like a fringe beer individual.
Those are very, very different.
Yeah, exactly. I like them over here or over here. I'm an extremist. I don't like the middle.
Or you need those extremes to just feel something.
Yes, exactly. Chaos.
Do you ever mix them? Oh,
that's a great. Hold on.
I don't know what would happen. Would they counteract each other? Like would it just
you just have like a regular IPA?
Yeah, it would just turn into a Budweiser.
Bud Light.
Well, awesome. There we go. A little happier. I'm glad to hear that you're staying busy. It sounds like you are making the most of your quarantine time, which has always been kind of it's a concern with everything shutting down, and especially, acting and your band. Like those are very much kind of, you have to kind of keep the work going, to keep everything going. So I'm very glad to hear that you're still working, and hopefully things will open up, but who knows, maybe they'll shut down. They'll open when they're ready, but I'm glad that you're staying active and keeping up.
I think we've been afforded all an incredible opportunity to kind of get right with ourselves and do a little reflecting and address some of the things that maybe we were putting aside and saying, well, I'll figure that out when I have a minute. And now we have a lot more than a minute. So yeah, it's time to start unpacking those boxes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. And this was a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you.
My pleasure, man. I hope I'm in another movie sometime so we can do it again.
Fingers crossed. When the world opens up, we'll see.
I think we're in for a big, good surprise.
That was part 3 in my All About Who You Know interview series. We were talking to Stevie Joffe, who plays Austin. The film is available in Canada to stream on Crave Entertainment, and in America, it's available to stream on Amazon Prime. It's a fantastic film. It's one of my favorites of the year. It has such a fresh feel, such sharp writing, and it has a decidedly younger feel to it. So I really enjoy it, and I hope you will too. If you like this interview, please feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. It helps us out a lot and make sure the new videos go straight to you. And as always, please go to watchyourpast.com for all your movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Thank you.